Hey guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto was the first Jinchuriki of Konoha? Part 1. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Let's start the story. The sound of music thumps through the speakers as civilians and ninja-like dance to the pulsing music. The name of the club is the Howling Fox, and to many an ironic name, as the village suffered at the hands of the Kyuubi no Yuko nearly 17 years prior. The club is 2 stories with a large dance floor, second level for seating with 2 long bars on both levels. It is decorated in dark purple and black colors with black lights to accent the white in people's clothes. The club is run by Fire Country's Yakuza group, known as the Black Sword Kurikan, which runs the entire red light district of and other districts throughout the country. The leader of this sector, known as the Black Guard, is a 16 nearly 17-year-old boy, who was chosen and groomed by the chairman of the immortal dragon Tatsumiku. The boy remembers when he was 6 years old and saved the chairman by complete accident. He remembers when he was 8 years old, and the Sandaime Hokage hears and Sarutobi told him he could never be a ninja as the village wouldn't allow it. So the boy threw himself into becoming a proper Yakuza like the chairman, and has very much succeeded. "Boss, the Hokage is here," a voice says, and the boss, Naruto Uzumaki, looks up from the book in his lap. "He is Hokage here," Naruto says, closing the book. He stands about 5 feet 11 inches with a slightly muscular frame, ice-cold blue eyes and blonde hair slicked back with an undercut. He wears a fitted 3-piece black suit with a white dress shirt and matching tie, black gloves with white streaks along the fingers and matching dress shoes. "I wonder what you want old man Naruto to think." A few minutes pass and the door opens with a few of his people guiding the aging Naruto Hiruzen. Naruto rises from his seat with a blank look on his face. "Please have a seat, Hokage-san," he says, holding his hand out to the comfy chair across from him, with a glass table in between. Hiruzen frowns and takes a seat as Naruto sits back down. "Give us the room," Naruto says. "Yes boss," they say and step out. The room falls into silence with the sounds of the club thumping outside. "How have you been?" "What do you want old man?" Naruto says, crossing his legs, and Hiruzen winces. "I'll get to the point where I have decided that it's time for you to become a ninja of the village and join the coming graduating class," Hiruzen says, and Naruto arches an eyebrow. "What has changed?" "You told me I would never be a ninja," Naruto says, not blinking. "Yes I did, but things have changed. The Shinobi Council has come to see things differently," Hiruzen says, but Naruto scoffs with a small snort. "Perhaps it has to do with the fact their weapon isn't doing its duty," Naruto says, and Hiruzen's breath hitches. Naruto then uncrosses his legs with an amused but faint smile. "People talk for the right price. When was I to learn that the Kyuubi was sealed inside me by my parents?" "Nonetheless," he says, and Hiruzen's eyes widen. Then Hiruzen starts, but Naruto sighs, shaking his head. "So I was a child when you crushed my dream of becoming Hokage, but I now realize it was a fool's dream, like the will of fire is for fools," Naruto says. "Naruto!" Hiruzen shouts and Naruto's people rush in, but the blonde raises his hand, causing them to step back out. "The will of fire says that everyone is family, yet I wasn't. My parents chose the village over their own child, condemned their child for the will of fire. Why? To keep the balance of the Jinchuriki or some other misguided notion," Naruto says and rises to his feet, looking to look out the one-way mirror to the club below. "I have found a place in the family, so your offer to become a shinobi no longer interests me," Naruto says, but his eyes narrow, as the music stops and Anbu enters the club. "You don't have a choice," Naruto Hiruzen says. Naruto slowly turns his face hidden in shadows. "I didn't think you would have it in you, but old man, I have powerful friends," he says. "No matter, report to the academy tomorrow 8 for the genin exams," Hiruzen says, as the door opens and 2 women enter, before stepping out. "Are you alright?" "Boss," one says, as Hiruzen leaves. She has long white hair and blue eyes, wearing a fitted black suit and a katana. "Was anyone taken in?" Naruto asks. The second adjusts her glasses over her blue eyes, and has long dark hair with a suit as well. "No sir, it seems to be done as intimidation," she says. Naruto takes a seat with a sigh and loosens his tie. "Hiryu Saoryu. It seems the Hokage wants me to become a ninja and not by choice," he says. "What has changed?" Boss Hiryu asks. "Well, for one, his advisors have been dismissed from their roles, and the clan heads want their weapon under their control," Naruto says. "Why backtrack? These are the same people who didn't want you as a ninja," says. "It's a misguided attempt to make up for my suffering, however it is a little too late," Naruto says. "So will you become a ninja or simply fail?" Asos. Naruto crosses his right leg over his left leg. "I think I'll pass and then watch how this comes back to bite the Hokage and Shinobi Council in the ass," he replies. Naruto stares at the Konoha Academy, which is right next to the Hokage Tower, his eyes hidden behind a pair of wide lens sunglasses with a blue tint. The blonde walks through the gates and sees a single swing on a tree, but ignores it, entering the academy to find the graduating class. He is wearing a black fitted 3-piece suit with a white dress shirt, matching tie and white gloves with black dress shoes. Naruto finds the loudest classroom and knocks thrice, causing the noise to die down a bit as the door opens. "Hello, who are you and why are you here?" a man says, wearing the standard attire with brown hair and a scar across his nose. It consists of a dark blue shirt and matched pants with a forest green flak vest and blue sandals. I'm here for the Genin exams, and my name is Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto says, and the man barely contains his disgust. I'm Ruka Yumino and Hokage-sama told me about you. Come in, the man says. Naruto follows inside and the Genin hopeful gawks and murmurs about him, but the blind sees another man with whitish blue hair and a ratty face, wearing the same attire as his brash voice shouts. He has wild brown hair and dark eyes with red markings on his cheeks. He wears black pants with matched sandals, a leather jacket with several zippers and a small dog on his head. This is Naruto and he's taking the Genin exams. What? He gets to take the exams on the last day, a platinum blonde shouts. She wears a purple outfit that consists of a purple blouse and matching skirt. Yes, he will be taking the exams, but regardless of how he does, he'll be considered the dead last days, slightly mocking in his tone. Hear the Kiba, you won't be the dead last, Ino shouts. Kiba looks at Naruto and is about to start laughing, but freezes as Naruto stares at him, after lowering his sunglasses a bit. Where can I sit? Naruto says. You can sit by Hinata Mizuki and hand out the tests, Iruka says, pointing to the provocative young woman. She has indigo hair in a hime-cut with lavender pupilless eyes, and wears a mesh sport bra under a purple coat with white sleeves, but unzipped to show off her midriff, light blue shorts to her thighs and knee-length kanoichi sandals. Naruto says, kissing Naruto's cheek to the shock of many. Hello Hinata, Naruto says, kissing her cheek. How do you know Hinata? A pink-haired girl shouts. She also has green eyes and is wearing a red kipao dress with green biker shorts and blue sandals. It is none of your business, Sakura snaps. Mizuki starts handing out the tests and gives Naruto a malicious smile as he gives him his test, but the blonde ignores it, reaching in his suit coat for a pen. Injutsu on your test, a sultry voice says, and Naruto lifts his sunglasses to his forehead. Of course, even if the Hokage wishes for me to be one of his ninja, prejudice still overrides their logic, dear Kage, Naruto thought. The blonde breezes through the test meant for Jonin and observes the class, made of many of the clan heirs and heiresses of the great clans. So this is the old man's play. He wants me to be around their children, Naruto thought. Mizuki comes to collect the test and his breath hitches as the sight of Naruto's finished test. Impossible, he answers the entire test. It was made for Jonin Mizuki. Alright, well I grade the test. Mizuki will take you for the weapons accuracy test and Taijutsu test says. The students murmur and follow outside as Naruto sends a small look too. Why are you here? Naruto asks. Didn't your father tell you? Naruto replies and shakes her head. No, so talk says. Naruto fixes his suit coat with a coy smile. The Hokage, he muses. The group stands near a large table and several training dummies, as they explain that they need to hit the dummies with 10 kunai and 10 shuriken. Naruto watches as each student in alphabetic order tries their hands, and he sees more of the clan children. Shino Abiram, Choji Akimichi, Shikamaru Nara, Sakura from a civilian family, Sasuke Uchiha and Ino Yamanaka. Naruto Uzumaki Mizuki shouts. Naruto makes his way to the table and slips off his blue sunglasses, picking up the shuriken in thought and looks too. So I need to hit the dummies, Naruto says, and Mizuki nods, a slight smirk on his face. Naruto looks at the dummies and tosses them with enough force to pierce the dummies, too, and the others shock. Naruto then picks up the kunai, and notes are a bit weighted, but like shuriken is perfect on his tries. He's skilled for some people, Sasuke thought. He has black hair in the shape of a duck's rump with charcoal eyes, wearing white cargo shorts and a blue sweater. Sasuke gets perfect marks, and many of girls cheer at this, with Sakura and Ino being the loudest. Mizuki marks down his finding and the results as joins him to observe the Taijutsu portions of things. Alright, we'll now move to the Taijutsu test. You have to last up to 5 minutes with me, explains. The group moves to a medium-sized ring and moves through the hopefuls as the civilian-born ninja, lasting not even a minute. The clan children do well and last the 5 minutes with Sasuke doing the best, Naruto Uzumaki shouts. Naruto removes his sunglasses and unbuttons his suit coat. Can you hold this, Hinata, he says, slipping the glasses over her eyes. He then slips off his coat and folds it to give to Hinata. Do not do him too much harm, she says. No promises, Naruto muses, unbuttoning his cuffs and rolling up his sleeves. Mizuki has a cocky look on his face as many of the others murmur, I won't hold back on you, demon thought. Naruto pulls up on his pants legs, before raising his right close to his chin, and his left out with his legs planted. What stance is that? Kiba shouts. Iruka calls the match to begin and rushes forward with a speed, prepared to feel pain, demon thought. He's moving faster than normal, thought. Naruto smirks and feints with a left jab as Mizuki dodges, but Naruto's right comes forward, striking Mizuki, and his head snaps back. Iruka and all the genin hopeful but Hinata gasp and their eyes are wide as Mizuki crumbles. As the count as a pass, Naruto asks. Yes, I said, but I was angry. Naruto smiles and pulls down his sleeves to rebutton his cuffs. Thank you, Hinata, he says, taking his coat and slipping it back on. I'll be keeping these as payment, says, pointing to his sunglasses, and Naruto smiles with a nod. The group heads back inside as met in to collect and to prepare for the final test. Can you perform the Academy 3 tasks? Naruto crosses his legs as he watches students go in and come out with various expressions. No, so I'll simply fail, but I'm sure the Hokage has a plan for that. Hinata looks at her potential boyfriend with a slight look, but goes to take her test. Of course the Hokage will make sure you pass fuses. Of course I am their weapon after all, Naruto thought, seeing Hinata coming out with her aide. The genin hopeful continues to go in as Naruto's turn finally comes, and he enters the room to see sitting with. You need to perform the Academy 3 to pass, Iruka says. What are the Academy 3? Naruto says, and both gasp but see this as an opportunity. It is the Kourimi, Henge and Bunshin. You must do all 3 or you will fail, Mizuki says. Naruto adjusts his suit coat and thought, well it seems I will fail. Oh well, I never really wanted this anyway, he says, and both men smirk. Naruto says that nothing cannot happen, Hiruzen says, appearing behind the men. Hokage-sama, Iruka says. Iruka shows Naruto the hand signs for the Kourimi and Henge. The Bunshin is impossible for him, Hiruzen says. Why is the Hokage protecting the demon and showing Naruto the signs? Naruto performs a henge of his father and Kourimi's with, sorry about that Mizuki-san, Naruto says, but mouths something to him, causing him to freeze and his eyes to widen. Perhaps I can try the Bunshin I am curious about, Naruto says. There's no need for Naruto. Now take your hit, I8, Hiruzen says. Naruto approaches the table and picks one with a black cloth. This will change nothing, old man, he says, confusing. Congratulations on passing, Naruto, Hiruzen says, and vanishes with a puff of smoke. Naruto steps out of the room and rejoins the genin as they gawk, seeing the aide in his hand as he takes his seat. You pass, and Naruto nods. Iruka and Mizuki come out of the room, and the former gives some foolhardy speech, before dismissing them and telling them to return in 1 week for placements. So now that we're genin in the eyes of the village, we are adults, so Hinata says, as they leave the academy. Many of the civilians gasp and whisper about Naruto as he and Hinata head for the gate. I'm sure your father would attempt to kill me, so I will have to decline. For now, Naruto says, seeing Hinata's guardian Ko. I do hope we are on the same team, Hinata says, leaving with Ko and the sway of her provocative hips. Naruto sighs and leaves the academy and makes his way up the tower toward Hiruzen's office. Hey, you can't go in there, the secretary shouts, but Naruto ignores her, entering Hiruzen's office. The old man sits at his desk and sees the blonde enter. Again, congratulations on passing, Hiruzen says. I'm curious. Why have you changed your mind? Is it because I am the boss of the Black Guard, or perhaps I was groomed by Otomo to be his successor? Naruto says. That should never have happened. Your parents would weep knowing that you have become a simple thug, Hiruzen says. A simple thug? How boorish of you, old man. Do you think of samurai in a similar manner? We provide a service just as ninja do, but because it's not honorable like ninja it is looked down on, Naruto says, raising his hands in quotes for honorable. Regardless of what you feel, you will fulfill your duty like your parents wished, Hiruzen says. Naruto sighs with a shake of his head and turns on his heels, but looks back as he grabs the doorknob. I will say again, you will regret pushing this, he says, leaving. Duty fufufu, he should have done his duty and told what your godmother says, and Naruto smirks. And now she hates him even more, Naruto thought, strolling through the village. Many of the villagers glare and whisper at the blonde, but know not to mess with him due to his status, not as but the boss of the Black Guard. Naruto reaches the red light district and makes his way to another of his clubs that he owns called the Elegant Moon. Welcome, Naruto-sama, the house mistress says. She wears a purple kimono with black flowers on it with her black hair in a bun. Naruto softly waves and makes his way upstairs to his best. Daki must be busy, he thought, slipping off his shoes. Naruto unbuttons his coat and takes a seat on a cushion with a roll of his shoulder. You'll need to get proper ninja clothes, muses. I know fighting in a suit wouldn't be prudent, Naruto muses. The door slides open and a young woman enters, but she gasps, seeing Naruto with a sparkling smile on his face. Hey Daki, Naruto says. Naruto-sama, Daki says. She has lime green eyes and long eyelashes with white hair and a lime green ombre at the bottom, styled in a full, long ponytail, and with kanzashi hairpins. Not working, Naruto says, as removes her obi, but then her kimono. Underneath she wears magenta pink panties with 2 magenta pieces of cloth that cover her chest, lastly magenta thigh-high stockings with black flower patterns. No, but I suspected you would be coming, Daki says, taking a seat next to him on the cushion. Naruto chuckles and loosens his tie with a sigh. Having your attendants watch for me isn't prudent, he says. Daki leans into Naruto and pulls his left arm between her breasts. I know, Naruto-kun, but she says. I know, Daki. However, I now have a problem, Naruto says, and Daki's demeanor turns downright evil. How can he make you do this? He told you would never be a ninja, but Naruto pulls his arm free and touches her cheek, calming her down. It will work out. The daimyo won't stand idle on this. The old man has made a mistake, Naruto muses. Still says, puffing her cheeks, and Naruto chuckles. Don't let it bother you. Let's just enjoy our time together, Naruto says, and Daki sighs into his embrace. Naruto sits with his legs crossed as the music thumps outside his office. In his lap is a book he silently reads while waiting for his guest. The blonde wears a dark blue 3-piece suit with a white dress shirt and matched tie, on his feet black and white dress shoes. The door opens and pokes her head in. He's here, she says, and Naruto closes his book, as enters. Hello Mizuki, Naruto says, smiling. A bead of sweat runs down Mizuki's face, but he keeps up his bravado. I had no idea that you were the boss of the Blackguard, he says. Of course someone like me should be wallowing in stupidity as some brain-dead fool spouting he would be Hokage, Naruto says, and waves his right hand for Mizuki to sit. Saoryu fixes him a drink, Naruto adds and bows, going to the bar. Mizuki slowly takes a seat as Saoryu hands him a glass. So what do you want, he says. What I want is you to pay what you owe. Present you to us for nearly 100,000 yen at 5% interest, Naruto says, and nearly spits out his drink. I can't pay what, Mizuki says, slamming his glass on the table, and Saoryu reaches for her sword, but Naruto raises his hand. I know that, but luckily for you I have a way for you to clear your debt and earn 500,000 yen, Naruto says, and Mizuki's eyes whiten comically. For real, Mizuki shouts, and Naruto nods, placing his fingers together. All you have to do is steal the sacred scroll of sealing. Do that and your debt is clear and you're 500,000 richer, Naruto says and freezes. I can't steal what Anbu, Mizuki says, but Naruto snaps his fingers and Saoryu hands Mizuki a folded paper. That is the Anbu patrol route. Follow it and you'll be able to do it. So what does Mizuki, Naruto say? Mizuki clutches the paper but finishes his drink. You got a deal. Where do we meet, he says, and Naruto smiles. Come to the place written at midnight, I'll be waiting, Naruto says, rising from his seat and extending his hand to shake, which he does and quickly leaves. He'll betray you, Saoryu says, and Naruto chuckles. Of course he will. He works for Orochimaru after all, and I have presented him with the means to escape blaming me in the process. However, what he doesn't realize is that this game has been rigged, Naruto says. Midnight soon comes and Naruto is standing near the shack with his back to a large tree with his eyes closed. Here he comes, Akagi says, opening his eyes. Mizuki appears with two famous shuriken on his back and a large scroll strapped to his lower back. Did you have trouble? Naruto asks, pushing off the tree. No, those instructions were flawless, how get them, says, readying to kill the blonde and frame him. I have someone in Anbu. You see, some are driven by greed, Naruto says, pulling on his gloves and grabbing a silver briefcase. Now then, 500,000 as we discussed, and you give me the scroll, Naruto says, but starts laughing. You stupid demon, I'll have the money, and the scroll shouts and pulls one of his shuriken, but several pierce his body, causing him to lock up and collapse. As I said, greed, Naruto says, as a woman appears and dressed as a Maiko with a blue and white color scheme, however she also has fox-like ears and 6 white tails. Anbu is searching for him, she says, as Naruto squats down to smile. And they'll never find him, and I'll have the sacred scroll, Orochimaru will pay top dollar for it, Kaga, Naruto says. What will you do with him? Kaga asks, as Naruto picks up the large scroll. Take him to the warehouse. We need to have a conversation of a physical nature, Naruto says and grabs, before vanishing in blue flames. Kaga is such a good girl, Akagi muses and Naruto smiles. Of course she is, Naruto, before vanishing with a swirl of black flower petals. Dull thuds and stifled screams fill a warehouse in the red light district, owned by the Blackguard, and used for various purposes. The source of the thuds and screams is as Naruto beats him with a crowbar, each strike leaving a forming bruise on his near-nude body. The blonde is wearing his suit, but his coat discarded and his sleeves rolled up to his elbows. Saoryu, Hiryu, Kaga and several of his people were standing and guarding the area to make sure no one knows what happened. Naruto strikes Mizuki's right arm with a backhanded swing. That looks like a hurt, Naruto says, and Mizuki glares, but tears of pain are in his eyes. So let's clear this up, Mizuki. What hurts more, A or B, Naruto says, striking Mizuki twice about the stomach and back. Forehanded backhand, Naruto continues, striking a few more times about the body. Mizuki looks at Naruto and tries to mumble about Orochimaru finding and killing him as Naruto leans down. You're going to have to speak up, Mizuki. You may have a collapsed lung and that impedes auditory function, the blonde says. However, I can guess what you're trying to say, Naruto adds, getting back to his feet and strikes again with his crowbar. He believes Orochimaru will save him, Kaga says, and Naruto points his crowbar with a nod. However, Orochimaru will believe you stole the scroll and betrayed him, Konoha will believe you betrayed them and stole the scroll. All the while the scroll is in my possession and its secrets, Naruto explains, his face hidden in the shadows and a wide smile on his face. What do we do with him? Hiryu asks and Naruto taps his chin in thought, but snaps his fingers. Nashi. I'm pouring a cement slab in the eastern part of the village, Naruto says. They're bosses. Some merchants are expanding his stores, Nashi says. He is a tall and muscular man with black hair and eyes, wearing a black suit. They'd make sure Mizuki becomes part of the foundation, Naruto says, and meekly screams as he is knocked out and dragged away by Naruto's men. Kaga takes the scroll of the Sakura Empire. Have Nagato decipher her secrets, Naruto says. Nods and grabs the large scroll, before she vanishes in a puff of smoke and returns to her summon realm. Naruto makes his way out of the warehouse and heads to his club, finding one of his people standing outside with a look on his face. He is lanky young man with blonde hair and faux hawk and green eyes, wearing a suit with no tie. Hey boss, some old guy with a cane is here, he says, causing them to narrow their eyes. Where is Mas, Naruto? I put him in your office. No one saw either. Masa replies and Naruto pats his shoulder, entering his club as the music thumps, and makes his way up to his office. Inside is an old man with shaggy black hair, an X-shaped scar on his chin and half his face bandaged, wearing a white shirt with a black robe from his right shoulder down to the floor. Naruto opens the door and sees the man sitting in one of the comfy chairs. So what do you want, Danzo? Naruto says. Hiruzen has decided to make use of you, Danzo says, watching the blonde take a seat across from him. Naruto crosses his legs with an amused look on his face. Perhaps he finally grew a backbone, he says. Regardless, you are Konoha's Jinchuriki, and that entails certain things, Danzo says. Yet I wasn't treated like Kumo's twin guardians, or was because of the insane Ichibi or genocidal Mizukage, Naruto says. Hiruzen is a fool. He bends to the will of the clan heads, and the fear of the villagers. Had I been, you'd be properly trained, says, and Naruto snorts, snapping his fingers. To be an emotionless puppy. Besides, you are too old to be Hokage, unless you had a proxy, Naruto says and narrows his eyes. But suddenly he feels a heavy weight on his body, his chakra also leaving him. Feel it, don't you? I have this room outfitted with special seals. Just a snap, and they are activated. You won't be leaving this room alive, Naruto says. Danzo's eye widens, and he tries to summon a few of Na, but Naruto chuckles. Don't bother, Torin, and few are dead, he says, pulling out a hook knife and twirls it in his hand. Even though I despise Sarutobi, I'm doing him a favor by killing you, Naruto says, pulling off his left glove and biting his finger to draw blood. He then draws a symbol on Danzo's forehead. This will destroy your little additions, Naruto says, as a seal array forms on Danzo's body. How could you know, hisses, and Naruto smiles with a cruel grin, snapping his left hand's fingers. Danzo's eyes whitened as 5 people dressed in Anbu-like gear appeared around them, and by their build, 2 were women and 3 men. It wasn't hard to flip them. Given they would get revenge on you for your actions, Naruto says and looks them in the eye. Also, the daimyo sends his regards, Naruto says, burying the hook knife into Danzo's lower jaw, and adding Futon chakra to create a blade through his brain. Danzo's eye rolls back into his head, and blood comes out his ears, his head slumping as Naruto removes the blade. Won't there be witnesses, one says, having purple hair and a fan ponytail with her mask being a snake-like but with red eyes. The red light district is a dead zone. Nothing gets in or out unless the black guard says so, Naruto says. What do we do with him? Another says, wearing a cat mask and having long purple hair. I'll deal with him. Head to his headquarters and deal with those who won't toe the line, Naruto says, and the 5 nod, vanishing with puffs of smoke. Naruto bites his thumb once again and smears some blood on his right hand, before weaving signs and slamming his hand on the floor with a puff of smoke. A pair of young women appear in white military uniforms with black stockings. Why have you summoned us, Naruto-kun, one says, giving off the vibe of a big sister. Ataku Takao, I need the 2 of you to take care of a body, and I already summoned Kaga, Naruto says. So we must get rid of this useless thing, Takao says, like a sword on her hip. Yes, take him and destroy his body completely, Naruto says. Atago approaches Naruto and runs her finger along his face and under his chin. Then perhaps One-san can help you relax, she says, lightly blowing in his ear. Work first and pleasure second, Naruto says and giggles as Takao grabs Danzo's body. The sisters dismiss themselves, and Naruto sighs loudly and stares at the ceiling as he closes his eyes, entering his mindscape as it takes the form of Shinto temple. Numerous sakura trees were outside as Naruto spies his tenant, sitting on a large cushion with chains on her hands and feet. She has brown hair and red eyes, wearing a Meiko outfit similar to Cage, but of a dark color scheme. He was an obstacle to remove, says, the collar around her neck with the kanji for seal on it. Of course, but Izuna will come in handy, Naruto muses. Akagi giggles and picks up a saucer of sake. I wonder how you will deal with Sarutobi, she says, and Naruto smirks. A week passes and the genin arrives at the academy to find out which teams they would be on, and all the Kunoichi, save one, were hoping to be on Sasuke's team. Hinata sits by herself as she waits to see Naruto, the young man she has desired since a young age. He saved her when they were about 7, and that lit a fire under her to be strong. If Naruto hadn't been so strong, I would probably be some shy mouse with a stuttering problem though. The door slides open, and Hinata sees Naruto stepping inside, but dressed like a proper shinobi. He's wearing a black hybrid Hakama ninja pants with black ninja boots, a short sleeve mesh shirt and black high collar, sleeveless shirt with gold buttons, a short red scarf around his neck with a weapons pouch and black gloves. Hello, Hinata, Naruto says, taking a seat next to her as many whisper about him. Naruto, you like proper ninja, comments, and Naruto chuckles. I certainly couldn't fight in a suit, Naruto muses, as a stampede of feet echo. Ino and Sakura are here, Hinata says, as the door shoots open and the pair enter, but fighting about who would sit next to Sasuke. Iruka soon arrives and shuts them up with some sort of big head. Now I will announce your genin teams, he says. Where Mizuki-sensei shouts and freezes. He goes out on a mission and Naruto smiles, hiding it behind his scarf. Can't say he's a traitor and stole the village's sacred scroll, says, giggling. Shame poor Mizuki lost his life in the process, Naruto thought and smirks. Iruka starts on the teams, and many of the fangirls groan not being on Sasuke's team. Team 7 under Kakashi Haddock will be Rookie of the Year Sasuke Uchiha Kunoichi of the Year Hinata Hyuga, and dead last Naruto Uzumaki, he says. Well, your wish came true, Naruto muses, ignoring the rest. It wasn't a wish when Iruka-sensei said you would be dead last. I knew I would be on your team, says, and Naruto shakes his head, glancing at Sasuke. Iruka finishes the team and gives a speech, but then excuses himself as the genin murmur amongst themselves. About 20 minutes passed and the various sensei arrived to pick up their teams. Team 10-1 says, and Naruto recognizes him as Hiruzen son Asuma, wearing the standard attire, but has a sash recognizing his time as one of the 12 ninja guardians. Teammate another says, and she looks too. She has long and wild black hair with ruby eyes that have an extra ring in them, wearing a red armored blouse with on the right sleeve visible. A white dress with thorn and bandage designs, also white leggings and blue sandals. Ino, Shikamaru and follow out, while, and Sakura follow the ruby eye. Well, the losers get the loser sensei mocks, but Naruto ignores the words. Who was she? She was looking at you, Naruto asks, glancing to Sasuke. Hinata crosses her legs with a sigh. Her name is Kurenai Yuhi. She was my guardian for a while, before I became a proper Hyuga, she says. Proper Hyuga, Naruto says, looking at her provocative look, but then looks at Sasuke. Sasuke-sen. It is nice to meet you, Naruto says, and Sasuke makes a noise. You should also know that our sensei is chronically late to anything short of a serious mission, Naruto adds and arches an eyebrow. Hinata questions how late. Naruto rises from his seat. 2 to 3 hours, so I've decided to go to the roof and enjoy the day until he arrives. Will you join me, Hinata? Sasuke, Naruto says, walking down the steps and towards the door. Sasuke remains in place as if he was a statue with his thoughts on killing that person, but Hinata rises to her feet. Tell our sensei where we are, she says, making her way down the steps and towards the door. Naruto slides open the door and offers the path ahead to Hinata, and she obliges as Naruto follows. How did you know Kakashi-sensei would be late? Hinata asks, as they walk through the hallway towards the roof stairs. Naruto walks with his eyes closed and his hands in his pockets. People talk in my circle, he says. The pair reach the roof, and Naruto takes a seat on a bench, while taking another bench to admire her sandebo. One way or another we'll be together, Hinata thought. 3 hours pass as the pair admire the clouds and the blue sky, but a puff of smoke appears. Oh, it seems my team doesn't take orders very well, Kakashi says, standing with Sasuke. He has silver hair oriented to the right with his left eye covered by his 8, and wearing the standard attire with a cloth mask over the lower half of his face. When your leader is 3 hours late, Naruto says it is hard. Sasuke takes a seat next to Naruto as Kakashi looks over his teammate. I have to say my first impression of you is not good, but you can fix that by introducing yourselves likes, dislikes and goals, Kakashi says. Naruto Uzumaki likes are vague. Same with dislikes and goals. Well, as a leader my men can look up to. Then Sasuke questions, but Kakashi ushers him to go next. Sasuke Uchiha, I don't like many things, and I dislike many others. Goals no and ambition is to kill a certain man, Sasuke says and Kakashi nods, glancing at Hinata Hyuga. I like my sister Hanabi flower pressing and cinnamon bun. Dislikes are uneducated people, and they like Golwi. Kakashi goes last, but they get his name. You have unique goals, but I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you are not genin yet. Tomorrow, I will test you to see if you can, but be warned this test has a 66% failure rate, he says. Do you mean a test to see if we can work together? Naruto says abruptly and Kakashi blinks. How could you know what? Kakashi says, shocked that his sensei's son had known the reason behind his test. I keep my ear to the ground, Hinata and I can work together, though I'm sure Sasuke can help to an extent, Naruto says. Well, since you know the reason behind my test, I'll give you a provisional pass, but I will test you tomorrow. Meet me at training ground 7 at 8, Kakashi says, and vanishes with a swirl of leaves. What that means is 11, Naruto muses, rising to his feet. Uzumaki, Sasuke says, and Naruto turns to face him with an arched eyebrow. What did you mean by men? Sasuke asks. Naruto fully turns to Sasuke as walks past them. I'll see you tomorrow, she says, leaving the pair. Well, I am a Yakuza, I am a part of the Black Guard, and run a sect of them in the Red District, Naruto says, and pats Sasuke on the shoulder. If you need a loan or like to party, come to the Howling Fox or Elegant Moon to find me, he adds, walking off and leaving Sasuke to stare at his retreating form. Naruto takes a sip of his morning tea as he looks at his morning report with and at his side. Shouldn't you be at your test? Hiryu asks. Naruto places the report down and picks up his teacup. Kakashi Haddock is notoriously late. Even if he arrived on time, he would still pass us regardless of what he said about the provisional pass. He starts and takes a few sips, before placing the cup back down. This team possesses the last loyal Uchiha, the Hyuga Princess, and their weapon, the Hokage and Shinobi Council, will not let this team fail, Naruto adds and nods. Don't forget you are meeting with Higurashi Weapons. It concerns the payment of the new swords and weapons, and Naruto takes another sip of tea. Isn't Higurashi's daughter a genin? Naruto asks. She is on Team 3 with Niji Hyuga, Rock Lee and Might Guy as their sensei replies. Have you met Hiryu? Naruto finishes his tea and rises to his feet. We were in the same orphanage, but I was kicked out and she was adopted, he says, looking at his watch. I'll leave now and see if Hinata or Sasuke heeded my warning. Also contact those 5, I need to speak with them about things going forward, Naruto says, and both bow at the waist. Yes boss, have a good time, both said, as Naruto leaves his office. Naruto walks down the steps and out the entrance of his club to make his way to the training ground, along the way buying 2 apples from inside the district. Will you make the girl one of your many lovers, asks, and Naruto chuckles softly. If I did, Daki or Hinata would kill her. The latter more so as she wants to be number 1, Naruto thought, continuing through the village. The blonde reaches the training ground, and it has lush green grass, numerous trees, a lake and 3 stumps driven into the ground. Naruto sees Sasuke sitting next to a tree, and by the look of him has been here since 8, with the current time being 10. It seems you didn't heed my words, Sasuke, Naruto says, and Sasuke looks up, simply glaring and looking away. Naruto wipes one of the apples on his shirt and tosses it to Sasuke. I'm sure you've gotten hungry, Naruto says, as Sasuke catches the apple. One for me, says, looking up behind them. Naruto tosses her the other apple with a smile. Of course, he muses. It seems you were right, Hinata says, after taking a bite of her apple. Information is always key to, Naruto muses. A swirl of leaves forms behind them as Kakashi appears. Good morning, my kawaii genin, he says. You're a little late, sensei, Naruto says, and Kakashi eyes smiles. Sorry I got lost on the road to life, Kakashi says, and an air of seriousness crosses his face. Naruto, how did you know about the reason behind my test? Naruto spreads his arms out with a smile. I live in a world where information is king. I like to know what I'm diving into. Plus people talk for the right price, he says, and Kakashi sighs. Seeing how Naruto has ruined the mystery of our test yesterday, I've decided not to further test you. So meet me at the mission hall inside the Hokage Tower at 9 tomorrow. 9 on the dot, he says, and vanishes with a leaf shunshin. You're in things again, Sasuke says, walking off to brood or glare at the world. How about a small brunch, Hinata asks. Naruto slips a pair of blue sunglasses over his eyes. That sounds like finding led the way, he says, offering his right arm, and Hinata takes it. The pair make their way into the village and head to find a place to eat. Hinata. I'm curious about something, Naruto asks. Hinata replies. Naruto cups his chin in thought of how to phrase this. Well, if we were to become a couple as you wish, we would be content with having one lover, he says, and Hinata halts in her tracks. The princess narrows her eyes but sighs softly. You are the last of your clan. So I would have to accept that you would need to replenish it. I highly doubt I wish to do it alone, Hinata says and looks at Naruto in his eyes. However, I will be the head wife if we were to become a couple, adds, her cheeks slightly pink. Naruto lifts his sunglasses to his forehead with a smile. We'll see what your father says. The pair find a nice restaurant, and the host sees them, but notices Naruto, however puts on a nice face as she knows who Naruto is. A table for 2, Naruto says, placing a slip of money into her pocket. The woman gasps and smiles to lead them to the private section of the restaurant. The waiter will be with you shortly, she says, excusing herself. What would Naruto ask, picking up the menu? Something sweet, muses and sees cinnamon buns, something Naruto catches and he chuckles. Welcome, how may I help you? The waiter asks, barely hiding his disgust for Naruto. The lady will have the cinnamon buns with extra cream and a milk with a hint of strawberry, Naruto says, and the waiter writes it down, as smiles. I will have the strawberry and cream pancakes. I will also have milk with a hint of honey, Naruto says, and then looks the waiter in his eyes. If our food isn't up to par, then this restaurant will close a day later. Oh, tell Mr. Nikito I am here, he adds, causing the waiter to freeze and scurry off. You're so mean, Naruto, Hinata says. His disgust was quite evident in Naruto muses. A few minutes pass and the waiter returns with their milk. Please enjoy, he says, his tone quite different. Naruto, I would like to revisit our earlier conversation concerning you having other lovers, Hinata says. Well, there is a lovely young woman in one of my clubs named Daki, and she has expressed a desire to become one of the lovers, Naruto says. Is her beauty comparable to mine, Hinata asks, but Naruto does so with his hand. She is pretty but has a bit of a childish personality, Naruto says, then takes a sip of his milk and enjoys the taste. Childish, how, asks. She is doted on by her brother, and because of this she can be spoiled and bratty, but not above throwing a full-blown tantrum, Naruto replies and contemplates this. I'm curious. Do you believe your father will allow me to court you? Naruto asks, after another sip of milk. You may have an atrocious public image. However, you control the underworld of Konoha, and have ties to the royal family in the capital. I believe he will allow me the chance, Hinata replies, after sipping her milk and liking the taste as well. The pair fall into comfortable silence in anticipation of their food, with it soon arriving, allowing them to enjoy the taste of their food. The pair finish their meals, and Naruto leaves a decent tip for the restaurant. Well, I will see you tomorrow for our first mission, Naruto muses. Until then, Naruto kisses her hand, before she turns on her heels to head home. Naruto watches her leave and turns on his heels to head to Higurashi Weapons. You didn't tell her what those missions are. Better to get her genuine reaction, Naruto thought. The journey to the shop is short, and Naruto finds himself standing in front of a two-story building with built-in forge and medium-sized windows. Welcome to Higurashi's voice, as Naruto enters the shop. The interior of the shop is a tan color with numerous weapons of various types on display. A long glass counter sits at the opposite end from the door, and has small hand-held weapons of various types. A young woman about a year older than Naruto sits at the counter, her brown hair in panda bear puffs, her brown eyes sizing him up, and she wears a Chinese-style shirt in a pink color, but also green pants. Hello miss. I'm looking for Hattori Higurashi. I'm here to discuss a shipment and pick several gifts, Naruto says. The name's Tenten and why are looking for my dad, the young woman says. Naruto looks around and rubs his forehead. I am the boss of the Black Guard, and I'm here to discuss business, he says, and this causes Tenten to freeze. Alright, you said gifts, right, I'll go call my dad and get them, Tenten says, and leaves as Naruto smiles. You've scared the poor dear, and Naruto chuckles. Tenten soon returns with a medium-sized scroll, and a tall but muscular man. He has black hair and eyes, wearing clothes made to work in a forge. So what do you want to discuss, Hattori asks. Naruto leans on the counter as Tenten unfurls the scroll and unseals a sword. Well, I wanted to discuss the shipment of weapons and where they can be delivered, but also pick up the commission Tatsumiku had made for me, he says. The sword is within a black sheath decorated with several uzumaki swirls in white, along with a cotton string wrapped around it. Should be the usual place within the red light district, Hattori says, and Naruto nods, picking up the sword and drawing it. The sword itself has a round guard wrapped in a diamond pattern with white and black. Lovely work. Does it channel chakra, Naruto says. Try what Hattori says, and Naruto does, with the sword turning black. Haha, amazing. The other swords are the same way, Naruto asks. There, Tenten, go get them, Hattori says, and clears his throat once Tenten is gone. Rumors have you joining the ninja corporation, Hattori asks. Naruto sheaths his new sword and seals it back into the scroll. The Hokage has decided I need to do my duty now, he says. Does he know the power you hold, Hattori asks. He thinks he does, but that will cause him problems in the future, Naruto replies, seeing Tenten return with 5 scrolls. Each sword is the same as yours but can be customized. Have them come to our shop to do so if they wish, Hattori says. Naruto slowly nods and gives Hattori the agreed payment, but also the address for the shipment. I'll pass it along, and it's nice to see you again, Tenten, Naruto says, confusing Tenten. We were at the same orphanage, but you were adopted. I was kicked out, Naruto adds, excusing himself and leaving their shop. That was what Naruto Uzumaki, Hattori says, going back to the forge, and Tenten's eyes whitened. Foxy, Tenten thought. 2 weeks would pass, and Team 7 would do glorious D-rank missions or chores lazy civilians didn't want to do for themselves. Walking dogs, babysitting their children, pulling weight, painting fences, chasing after a cat on several occasions. Sasuke felt he was beneath these mundane missions, but Kakashi coddled him with extra training. Hinata too felt this way beneath her, but she has Naruto to offset these tasks, while Naruto himself performed the tasks with no issue as people seemed to look down on him. However, after a week that changed as people learned his other title, causing fear to manifest in those who tried to look down on him. Naruto would also use the Black Guard to hire Team 7 for missions, something to allow Kakashi to laze about or train Sasuke. Naruto currently finds himself in his office, inside his club with 5 special individuals known as the White Suits. As the name implies, each of them wear a fitted and custom 3-piece white suit with black gloves, matching black shirts and white suit vests. The first of the White Suits is Spader Gyutaro, and Daki's older brother. He has muscular build, and has unruly black hair that is cut sharply off to a brighter green around the crown of his head, messily styled with uneven bangs and several. He has several tattoos in the form of black spots on his body, and a flowing water-like pattern on his face. Oni-chan croons, sitting next to her brother as he strokes her head and cooing in her ear. Gyutaro is what most call and loves his sister, constantly pestering Naruto to marry his cute baby sister. He has a jealous streak, and there were times when Naruto had stepped in before Gyutaro killed someone with his hand sickles, because they said something about her real name. Next is Harder Yuzui Tenjin, someone who is an old-school ninja, but flashy as all get out. Yuzui is very handsome with lightly tanned skin and white hair in uneven lengths, the longest strands reaching his shoulders, and is styled with 3 more notable, shorter clumps arching up to full as bangs between his marina eyes, and on either side of his face. So what have you called us for? Boss asks. I'm sure he'll tell us in time, when Yuzui says Diamond to Ken Kitano. He is tall and muscular with his blonde hair gelled up and dark green eyes. He's considered an unstoppable force within the Black Guard, and is the brother of Naruto, Gyutaro, and fourth is Clubber Bato, or as he's known to other Metal Bat. He gives off the brash attitude most associate Yakuza with, but he has a softer side for his little sister Zenko. He has black hair styled in a pompadour, and dark eyes that emphasize his hot temper, having a black turtleneck inside of a dress shirt. I hope this won't take long. I need to be back from my sister's party, legs are on the table. Lastly is Joker Inoi, and the tallest of the 5 is 6 foot 2 inches. She is very tall and muscular with silver white hair and red eyes. She is a carefree and confident person, considering Naruto as her boss and hopefully lover in the future. To think I would have two Siskins in my circle, Naruto muses, causing both Gyutaro and Bat to shout oi. Regardless, thank you for coming at my call, but we have things to discuss first. That before your special swords made by Hattori Higurashi. Naruto thoughts, and the white suits gasp. For real, Bat says, and Naruto nods. Indeed, if you channel chakra into them the blade changes color, Naruto explains. That's really cool, as each of them unseal their swords. You can test them out later. I want to get to the reasons for this meeting. The Hokage has decided I now need to do my duty as Jinchuriki, Naruto says. Doesn't seem all that flashy comments. Of course not, he wants me to be his little lapdog, snap at his enemies, but not at the master's hand. No matter, he'll come to regret it now since I will work as a genin. It means I won't be available to deal with the day-to-day of the district, Naruto says, and glances to the woman at his left. She is a young woman with dark purple bob-linked hair with bangs that cover the right side of her face and amethyst eyes. She wears a dark suit over a white shirt and tie, and a pair of dark pants and shoes. If you have issues, Neko will handle it and get word to me, Naruto says, and the five nod. Does the big boss know what the Hokage has planned? Ken asks. He does, and told me to play along for now. Oh, that reminds me, that little troll. Naruto's nose is open to us for a long time. How much is a lot? Bat asks. 10 million says, and some whistle. And he thinks because he controls the shipping lanes between Nami and Mizu he's untouchable, but sooner or later, we'll teach him the order of things, Naruto says. Aren't they building a bridge in his neck of the woods? Says. So they say, check it out, Yuzui, Naruto says and nods. Oh, another thing, I killed Danzo Shimura, and took over the remains of his operation, Naruto adds, snapping his fingers, and the five Anbu appear. Remove your masks, Naruto says, and the five do. Meet Anko, Mitarashi, Yugao, Yuzuki, Hei, Jekko, Yamato and Sai, he adds. Can we trust them? They each wanted to be free of Danzo's machinations for one reason or another. They were ordered to infiltrate various parts of Konoha's infrastructure. Anko works for the T&I department, Yugao and Yamato are in standard Anbu. Hade is a jonin, Sai is the only one without one, but that can be arranged, Naruto explains. Naruto also promised to deal with the Orochimaru ads and Naruto nods. Alright, that's it. You can return to your duties and report things through our normal channels, Naruto adds, as the five white suits rise and bow to their boss. Don't make me regret this, Naruto says, once the white suits are gone. I don't like Naruto-sama. You have given me a new purpose. Unlike Danzo, Neko says, and Naruto smirks, as she vanishes with a shunshin with the others. Another 2 weeks would go by, and Naruto would celebrate being a genin for a whole month, learning nothing but team-building exercises. However, Sasuke would learn a few and advanced skills not meant for a rookie genin. Kakashi would make up some excuse when it was brought up, and the excuses got lazier as time went by. Kakashi would throw Naruto in some chakra control exercises, such as tree walking and the like, something the latter of the two knew due to her training. Naruto learned the technique a week to Kakashi's shock, but didn't teach him anything new, but told him about water walking. However, this was done so she could ogle his body. Another month would pass, and Team 7 would get their first C-rank mission to the country of Nami, escorting a bridge builder named, and they would encounter trouble. Tazuna, can you tell us why two Chunin missing nin were after you? Kakashi asks, glancing to see Naruto wiping blood from his sword. The mission was supposed to be a simple one, but they encountered missing nin, so Kakashi decided to test his team by faking his death, but Naruto was the only one to react at first. The blonde took down one of them, while Sasuke took down the other, but the blonde killed his opponent. I'm sorry to say and explain how their country was under the control of a corrupt businessman named. He told this sob story about not having enough money to hire higher rank ninja, something that seems to tug on the heartstrings of. If Chunin level threats were sent, then a possible jonin could come next. I can't in good faith continue this mission. But this would reflect badly on Konoha if we abandoned the mission, Kakashi says. So what do we do? Kakashi-sensei asks, seeing Naruto sheath his sword. Kakashi sighs with a look over his young team. We'll continue the mission, he says. Perhaps I can provide some backup, Naruto says, confusing the others, but the blonde snaps his fingers. Kakashi gasps as nearly a dozen men and women in suits appear around them. Have you forgotten I am the boss of the Black Guard, Naruto says, a lopsided smile on his face. Dispose of the bodies in contact with the heart. I want them in Nami by the end of the week, Naruto says. Yes boss, they shout in unison, two grabbing the brothers Gozu and Mizu. Sasuke stares in both shock and jealousy, while looking at Naruto with fear, with Kakashi having suspicion in his eye. The heart asks, something everyone wanted to ask. Someone who works for me will be a great aid to us. So why don't we continue on our way? Nami, Naruto says. Kakashi stares at blonde with wariness in his eyes. What has become of your son, sensei? Kakashi thought. Team 7 surround and continue to make their way to the coast, meeting someone from Nami to ferry them across the water. Tazuna's unfinished bridge comes into view, and Naruto admires his scale. Tazuna, do you need investors in your bridge? He asks, and the boat shushes him, but freezes as Naruto glares at him. Team 7 and Tazuna soon reach Nami itself as the fog rolls. I ask again, Tazuna, do you need investors in your bridge? Naruto asks. And no, but I would not turn them away, says, as Naruto smiles, but Sasuke tosses a kunai into a bush as a white rabbit scampers out. Naruto picks up the poor and frightened creatures as Kakashi stares at it. Its coat is the wrong color for this time of year, Kakashi thought, but a noise catches his ears, as Naruto sends the rabbit on its way. Everyone down, Kakashi shouts, tackling. Naruto sees a large sword approaching, and he stares it down, but draws his sword to parry it away, to the shock of his teammates, client and sensei. Seems one of these brats is sculled in disembodied voice, before heavy murderous intent blankets the area. The sword vanishes as a figure appears behind them as Sasuke and were not doing well, neither was as the man was on the verge of passing out. However, Kakashi and Naruto were fine, something that intrigues the mystery person. Zabuza Mamachi, Kakashi says. Zabuza is a tall man and is noticeably muscular with light grayish skin, has short spiky black hair, dark brown eyes, and small eyebrows with bandages like a mask over the bottom half of his face. He's wearing no shirt with a pair of baggy pants with a striped pattern and mimetic leg warmers, and his scratched 8 turned to the left. Kakashi Hadouken brat I have to say is strange but also amusing as some brat can withstand my kai, compared to his fellow brats. Naruto twirls his sword in his right hand with a lopsided smile on his face. It is strange that someone like you would work for a slimy piece of trash like Gato who owes us over 10 million yen, he says. Thus Abusa questions but whips his sword up to block Naruto's Gatatsu strike and follow up side sweeping attack. Naruto, what are you doing? Kakashi shouts. Working off some stress, Kakashi-sensei, let your fox have his fun, Naruto says, looking back but closing the gap with. You think you can go toe-to-toe with me, Brat says, and takes a half-ram sign. Ninpo. Kurigakure no Jutsu says, and the mist becomes even thicker. Naruto looks around and cannot see even 2 feet away, the infamous hidden mist jutsu, and the silent killing technique staple of the 7 swordsmen of mist. He muses and chuckles seemingly from everywhere. You know your stuff, brat, so where should I strike you? Larynx, spine, lungs, liver, jugular, subclavian, artery, kidneys, or the heart says, mocking the blonde. Naruto closes his eyes with a soft smile as appears behind Naruto with his sword raised, but the blonde dodges the downward swing, forcing to dodge the wide sweeping strike from Naruto. He made no sound when he countered. Does this brat know the silent killing technique? Thought. What's the matter, Zabuza? I thought you were gonna strike one of the 8 points, Naruto says, sheathing his sword and slipping into a Batajutsu stance. Zabuza appears again with a faint swing from the right, but Naruto doesn't bite, and a loud clang erupts as Naruto blocks the strike from his blind side. You're no ordinary brat says, pushing down with his sword. Naruto's smile is no longer there. That's 7, I am no simple brat. I am Naruto Uzumaki, learn it well, demon of mist, he says, pushing back in a test of strength. Kakashi suddenly appears and stabs Zabuza in the back, but instead of blood, it is water as Zabuza melts into puddles, and Naruto notices the Sharingan eye in Kakashi's left socket. Zabuza splits Kakashi down the middle suddenly, but Kakashi turns to water as well. He used a Mizu Bunshin that was fast. Leave this to me, Naruto, go protect the client, Kakashi orders. Naruto sighs and sheaths his sword. Do what you wish. I will warn you once we return, he says, walking away. Seems he doesn't like you, Kakashi sneers, but Kakashi says nothing. Naruto finds his teammates with, both looking frazzled from Zabuza's kai and looking pale. You seem to be relatively unharmed, Naruto says. How are you unaffected, Sasuke says, remembering he actually wanted to kill himself to escape. In the world I live in this is somewhat commonplace, Naruto says. W world you live in says. Naruto smiles softly as he pulls on his black gloves. Well, Tazuna, that is a story for another time and place, he says. Team 7 watches as their sensei and engages in a dance of death, but Naruto internally sighs as traps Kakashi in a water prison. Zabuza creates a bunshin to deal with them as Kakashi shouts for them to escape. Sasuke, can you still fight or has his kai laid you low, Naruto says. I can dead last, Sasuke says. Naruto draws his sword and puts it under Sasuke's chin. I never attended your academy. Never call me that again or your brother will have repopulated your clan, Naruto says, moving his sword. Sasuke ignores the threat and rushes forward, but Zabuza's clone dispatches him, however loses its head in the process by Naruto's sword. Itoryu. Flaming chain, Naruto declares, flames bursting from his sword. Zabuza gasps and lets go of the water prison, as the flames extend with Naruto's swing. Was Naruto always this skilled, Kakashi? Zabuza leaps and brings down his massive sword, but Naruto parries the blade with a heavy swing, forcing the demon of mist back with a leap. However, suddenly 3 strike his neck and seizes, crashing to the ground as Kakashi halts Naruto. A figure appears with a strange white mask on their face, black hair in a bun, and wearing the standard Kurigakure pinstripe outfit which stops at their knees. Over this is a green haori with white trimmings, and around the waist a brown sash with a fringe trail wrapped around twice. Light brown platoon sandals with straps in the same color as the kimono and nail polish on their fingernails and toenails in matching blue-green color. You're Kurigakure Hunter Nin, Kakashi says. I am, and thank you for distracting him, the hunter says. Kakashi kneels to check for a pulse and doesn't find one. I will leave you to it then, he says. The hunter approaches and squats down to lift as Naruto stares. I thought Hunter Nin disposed of the body the moment they killed him, Naruto says, and the hunter gasps, but vanishes as Kakashi whips around. Seems Zabuza has an accomplice, Naruto says, as Kakashi pulls down his aide. Then Zabuza is still a threat, Kakashi says, stumbling, but one of Naruto's clones pops to life to catch him. A bout of chakra exhaustion, let's get the others and head to Tezuna's home, Kakashi says. Team 7 would link back up and make their way to Tezuna's home, which is near the water. The building resembles a seaside with small pier but boats, and would meet Tezuna's daughter Tsunami, and his grandson Inari. Tsunami would guide Kakashi upstairs to rest, and the others would remain below. I could use a glass of wine, Naruto thought, seeing Sasuke staring at him. Speak your mind, Sasuke, use your words, don't just HN at me, Naruto says. What did you mean by the world you live in, Sasuke says. Naruto crosses his legs with his hands in his lap, as if looking at him too. Well, there's the upper world, Naruto says and points up, then the underworld, he adds, pointing down. I am the boss of the Black Guard. An offshoot of the Kurikan led by Tatsu the immortal dragon, Miku, Naruto says and seizes, causing the blind to smile. Don't worry, I just happen to be on the team you got. Also, I will help with your problem, Naruto says. So you're Yakuza, and Naruto nods. I hold a lot of power within the red light district back in Konoha, so much that nothing happens without my okay, Naruto explaining. Why didn't you go to the academy? You're my age, Sasuke says. Well, to answer that I would have to break an S-class secret, but the simple answer, I was forbidden by the Hokage, but now he has changed his mind, Naruto states. How are you so skilled in ninja skills if you didn't go to their academy, Asos? You can learn many things for the right price. Tatsu wanted me to be able to defend myself. I may not know any fancy jutsu, but my skills with the sword are deadly, Naruto says and looks back at me. Now Tazuna, I ask a third time. Would you like me to invest in your bridge, Naruto asks. Sasuke looks at the older man as it seems he is considering this, and no, I can't. I won't forsake my principles to take dirty money, and Naruto starts laughing, rising from his chair. You're a good man, stupid but a good man, Naruto says, heading upstairs for a nap. Naruto stares at the night sky and the many stars, but also the half moon. You were hoping, he said no, and he smiled. I thought some people were too good for this world, Naruto thought. Tazuna avoided him the rest of the day as his grandson loudly declared they would die because would kill them. Like that troll could kill me, Naruto thought. Several cherry blossoms appear around him and Naruto smirks. So you're the first Hinasuru, he says, looking back to see a young woman. She has big almond-shaped violet eyes framed with thin eyelashes and eyebrows, and a distinct beauty mark located beneath her left eye. She wears a short, sleeveless dress with an irregular square pattern of a dark lavender color, and secured tight with a red-violet obi, brown fishnet socks that reach up to her mid-thigh, along with matching ankle boots. Tenjin Sama was nearby and rushed here, as Nasuru says, as her sister wives Makio and Soma appeared next to her. Makio has a voluptuous figure with pale skin and large golden brown eyes framed by eyelashes, but prominent ones present on both the upper and lower lashes, and thin eyebrows, black hair tied up with golden brown bangs which hang loosely, framing her face. She wears a red short sleeveless striped dress that ends mid-thigh, and secured with a black obi, grey socks to calves with kanoichi sandals. They're finally collecting on the fat pig and Naruto nods. Do I have to fight Soma? She has a curvaceous build and shoulder-length black hair with short bangs over her forehead and round, sapphire blue eyes framed with short eyelashes and thin, upturned eyebrows. She wears a short black sleeveless dress with a grey obi, matching tights and white ankle boots. Maybe a little, but have Tenjin set up a meeting with Gato for tomorrow night. Tell him the Black Guards send their regards, Naruto says, and all women vanish. Kuchi's no jutsu, Naruto whispers, after biting his thumb and placing his hand on the roof. A small white fox with 6 tails appears in a puff of smoke. Kaga, scout the island, and give me a detailed report of things, Naruto says, stroking her head. I'll have it by midday, Kaga says and leaps from the roof. Once I know how things are on the island I can get rid of Gato tomorrow night, Naruto says, and continues to watch the night sky. The next day comes and Kakashi leads his team to the forest near Tazuna's house. With Zabuza and his accomplice still lurking, I will further your training, Kakashi says. Kakashi-sensei, why don't you continue to train Sasuke while Hinata and I train by ourselves, Naruto says, and Kakashi narrows his eyes. Well, that's how things have been working so far, Naruto adds a sly smile on his face. Naruto, I'm going to train all of you, Kakashi says. But you don't have Hinata and I can manage. Just focus on Sasuke, Naruto says, beckoning for Hinata to follow him. Why are you antagonizing? Kakashi-sensei asks, as they move further into the forest. Because I don't like him. Besides, I prefer your company to theirs, Naruto replies. The pair find declaring as Naruto rests his sword on a tree and rolls up his sleeves, while slips into her stance. I'm curious why Tazuna is avoiding Hinata. Naruto rolls his left shoulder and fires off several jabs, but Hinata blocks and parries them. He thinks I am a bad person. After I told him I was a Yakuza, he says, swinging a right hook, but Hinata ducks under and slams a palm into his chest. Naruto turns into a log as whips around for Naruto to catch her wrist. Tazuna is a good man, and sees the world in black and white, he says, dodging her left. However, the world has gray everywhere. Good men do evil things, and evil men do great things, Naruto says, parrying her strikes. The pair continue their spar for another 15 minutes, as Hinata closes a few of the blonde's points. When we return I will speak to my father, Hinata says, taking a seat on the grass. Naruto grabs his sword and slowly draws it, so eager to be a Yakuza's woman, ha, he says, resting the sheath back on a tree, and drives it into the dirt to remove his shirts. Numerous tattoos adorn the blonde's upper body, but the most beautiful is the dragon on his back wrapped around an oni. The dragon is skinny like a snake with a wispy white beard, several horns and blue eyes, with the oni being red. Hinata watches as Naruto goes several sword kata, causing to slowly lick her lips at Naruto's body. She enjoys watching you muses, and Naruto smiles, holding a stance for the Gatatsu. Of course Hinata knows what she wants. Her desire is for me to be her man and all that entails. I wonder if she'll walk into my world and like what she sees, Naruto thought. He relaxes himself and goes to pick up his sheath. Hinata tells me if your father does agree to things, can you walk into my world, Naruto says, sheathing his sword and grabbing his shirt to put it on. I wonder my mother would be ashamed if her daughter dated someone like you, but she would also tell me to follow my heart, Hinata says, rising to her feet. Naruto nods his head approvingly. One must follow their heart, and the heart wants what the heart wants, he says, but see in her fox form. Why don't you head back before me? Something has caught my eye, Naruto says. Nothing bad, I hope, Hinata says, but Naruto shakes his head. Something good, and it may make our time here a little better, Naruto says. Hinata sighs and makes her way back to find Kakashi and Sasuke at Tsunami. Naruto folds his arms as Kaga approaches and returns to human form. So what do I have for me, he says, and Kaga starts to explain things, causing the blind to smirk. The tyrant of Wave is a man of confidence, as he has a lot of money to throw at his problems, but he has bitten off more than he can chew by owing over 10 million yen. The shipping tycoon made a huge error in a casino in a fire country, and lost the amount but skipped out. How can a member of the Kurikan be in this backwater country, Gato thought. He is a diminutive man with shaggy brown hair and his dark eyes hidden by glasses. He wears a black suit with a honey mustard color shirt and black, having a cast on his left hand at the hands of Zabuza. Now I need to get him off my back. I can offer him women to take him hostage, glancing at his guards Ori and Waraji. Waraji has an eye patch over his right eye, and has brown hair which he parts in 3, finishing in an elaborate top knot. He wears a loose-fitting kimono with the top half around his waist, leaving his upper body exposed to show off an intricate tattoo that stretches across his entire left side, as well as a stitched scar on the left side of his forehead. Zori is a light-skinned man with bluish-white hair and black eyes, having line tattoos under them. He wears dark purple hair, a blue jacket with multiple pockets and brown pants. If things go bad, be ready to subdue him, Gato says, and both nod. A servant enters and tells that Naruto has arrived with a single guard, causing the mini-tyrant to smirk. The doors open as Naruto enters with at his back. Forgive me for not dressing for the occasion, but it's hard to find a decent suit in such a depleted country, Naruto says. I didn't think I would meet the rising star of the Kurikan in such a country, Gato says. It was a coincidence that I ended up here guarding the man you want dead, but it affords me the chance to deal with some business for the chairman, Naruto says. Yuzui glances to the two flankings as a little tension rears his head. The 10 million says, and Naruto nods, smiling and crossing his legs. Well, now it's 15 million, Naruto corrects and nearly bolts up from his seat. Why does ask, trying to stifle his anger. Finder's fee for me, but let's push that aside for a moment. The bridge why kill Tazuna before he finishes, why not take it after and then kill him, seems a bit stupid and narrow-minded on your part, Naruto says, insulting to his face. He'd end up a martyr to these people, Gato says, and Naruto snorts, wetting his lips. Martyr, you've taken just about everything from these people. If you do things smart, Tazuna would happily build his bridge with you turning a nice profit. Instead you have your thugs beat people. Take their properties. Charging high protection fees, Naruto explains and narrows his eyes. You think you could have better say, nearly gnashing his teeth. Naruto uncrosses his legs and leans forward with a smile. Yes, he says, simply. Music. Holy anger, Vincenzo Loop. You've got some nerve, hisses. Naruto leans back in his chair with a lopsided grin on his face. No, it's you who's got some nerve. You walk into our casino and treat it like you own it, then go 10 million in the hole and walk, he says, and clenches his fist. Tatsu was pissed for days, Naruto adds. He'll get his money, Gato says, and Naruto shakes his head. It's not about the money. It's the message, Naruto says. Gato opens his bottle of bourbon and pours himself a drink. 15 million takes time to get. So how can we resolve this today? Yuzui was about to do the same thing, but Naruto chuckles with a wolfish smile. Well, that is easy. Sign over your company to me, and your 15 million yen debt is wiped away, he says, waving his hands. Gato seizes as several veins form on his face. What? he hisses. Are you deaf as well as stupid? Sign over your company, and your debt is absolved, Naruto says, slowing to emphasize sign over your company. I don't care if you're immortal, Tatsu's golden boy, kill him, shouts. Zori goes for their swords but moves with blinding speed to slit their throats, as Naruto slams his fist on Gato's cast, causing him to scream in pain. Naruto then grabs a letter opener off the table and drives into Gato's left arm. I hope you're right-handed. Otherwise you're gonna have to learn, Naruto says. And my guards are going to kill you, Gato says, but Naruto gives him a cruel grin. Too bad they're all dead. Now sign over your company to me or I chop you into little pieces and feed you to your dogs, Naruto says, his eyes flashing red for a moment. Grits his teeth and pulls a paper with his company's name on it, as Naruto works the knife in his arm. Don't mess up, Naruto says, in a sing-song tone. Gato writes out that he turns over all assets concerning his company to Naruto Uzumaki and Miku, before signing his signature, and Naruto snatches the pen and signs his name. Nice doing business with you, Naruto says, before slamming Gato's head on the desk and knocking him out. So what are we doing with him? Says. Naruto folds up the paper and slips it into his back pocket, cuts out his tongue, cuts off his dick, gouge out one of his eyes, and shaves his head, before selling him to one of his slave mining operations. You got it, boss says, grabbing and vanishing with a puff of smoke. Naruto grabs a silver Zippo off of Gato's desk, and slips it into his pocket as he leaves his office with the smell of gas starting to waft around the mansion. All that leaves is Abusa, Naruto muses, once he is at the door, but stops and flips open the Zippo. Naruto lights it and tosses it back inside to create a fire to spread throughout the mansion, as the blonde strolls off with the country of waves now his and the Kurikens. Song ends. Naruto turns away from the sun in his room. What do you think the people will think about the fire? Naruto rubs his eyes with a sigh and moves the sheet of his futon. They may see it as Kami answering their prayers. Tazuna may suspect me and Kakashi will suspect me, he thought, sitting up and stretching. He gets up and picks up his futon, slipping on some pants and undershirt to show off his tattoos. The blonde finds only Tsunami, Inari, and Sasuke sitting at the table. Why Kakashi-sensei, Naruto asks, but could see Tsunami and Sasuke looking at the tattoos on his arms, which are covered in chains with eyes, scales and daggers. Your sensei went with father. There was a fire last night. Naruto takes a seat at the table next to Inari. I hope it wasn't a villager's home, Naruto says, faking concern. And no, it was Gato's mansion, Tsunami says, barely hiding her happiness of his death. Naruto slowly nods with a fake look of shock, but glances at the quiet Inari. His worldview must be shattered. He believed Gato was unbeatable, he thought. Kakashi and Tazuna would return after breakfast with the older of the two rejoicing that Gato had to be dead. Kakashi on the other hand was still wary of and suspected Naruto like the blonde thought. Kakashi would set them up for their training, and he would beckon for the blind to follow him. Naruto. Did you do something? Kakashi asks, once they were away from the others. Naruto arches an eyebrow with a puzzled look on his face. Whatever do you mean, sensei? He asks. Don't play dumb, Naruto. Did you burn Gato's mansion down? Kakashi says, with a seriousness in his tone. Naruto stands with a nice smile on his face and a lopsided grin as well. I simply made our job easier. Gato's dead so Zabuza won't get paid. Most of his thugs died in the fire, so we'll have easier time beating them if they terrorize the town, he says. Naruto, what happened to you? Kakashi says. When I grew up, Tatsu gave me a purpose when the Hokage decided to bow to the village's fear about me being a Jinchuriki, Naruto says. There were extenuating circumstances, Kakashi says, defending them. Yes, the insane Ichibi container and the genocidal Yonde Mizukichi yet the other Jinchuriki are treated fairly well save the Nanabi, but are revered in Kumo, Naruto says, but Kakashi doesn't have an answer. Also Tatsu hasn't lied to my face since I learned to speak the Hokage, and you knew my parents yet treated me like so. No name Morphin, Naruto adds, and Kakashi's eye widens. Naruto. Kakashi starts, but Naruto raises his hand with a shake of his head. Save it. You're too late to fix things. So focus on Sasuke and I'll be fine, Naruto says and shocks Kakashi by vanishing with a futon shunshin. He'll tell the Hokage what they have done, the Kage says in Naruto as he strolls through the forest towards Abusa's hideout. Let him, the Hokage can't do anything about it. He wants me to be his little weapon. The blonde sees a familiar white rabbit, but also a young woman or effeminate man feeding it, wearing a pink kimono with a black choker and long black hair. They sense his presence and spring to their feet, creating from ice and firing them at Naruto, but the blonde swaps with a log. So this you behind the mask, Naruto says, behind them, and they whip around with a back leap. I am not here to fight, Naruto says and kneels to one knee to pet the rabbit. I'm just here to talk to Zabuza concerning Gato, Naruto adds, but ducks under Zabuza's swing with his massive Kubikirabacho. What do you want? Uzumaki says. Naruto leans on a tree and folds his arms. I'm sure you've heard about Gato's mansion burning down, he says. Zabuza looks the blonde up and down with calculating eyes. Are you saying you burned down and killed the fat midget? He says. Aren't you perceptive? But I didn't kill him. I gouged out one of his eyes, cut out his tongue and castrated him before sending him off to one of his slave mines, but not before signing his company over to me, Naruto says, pulling the paper from his pocket. Zabuza lowers his sword with a glance to his tool Haku. Why go through so much, the midget asks. He owed the Kuririn 15 million, and I set an example, Naruto says. So now Haku asks. Well, you and Zabuza work for me now, but I also have a lucrative offer, Naruto says, and narrows his eyes. Nothing bad, I assure you, simply run this company in my stead, Naruto adds. What? Says. Yep, run Gato's company for me, but you'll need to kick up 10% of the profits each month to me. After a year it goes to 15% a year. Think it about it. No more running from Hunter Nin. You can even back up those rebels in Kieri with the money from the company, Naruto says. What the catch, says, and Naruto pushes off a tree to approach the Demon of Mist. No catch, Chairman Miku took a chance on me. So I am simply doing the same. So do we have a deal, Naruto says, extending his right hand. Zabuza stares at the blonde's hand for a few moments, but gives him a firm handshake. Excellent, I'll send someone who knows finances to assist with things. Also, if Gato has some allies, tell them you're backed by the Blackguard and Kuririn, Naruto says. But one more thing, girl guy, Naruto says, looking at Haku. I am a man, Haku says, and Naruto tilts his head. Well, you're a pretty man, Naruto muses, vanishing with Shunshin. Can we trust him? Zabuza-sama, Haku says. Haku for now, says. A month passes in the blink of an eye and Wave Country finds themselves back on the upswing, as news spreads of Gato's death and the fire at his mansion. Rumors spread quickly that it was his hired thugs who betrayed him. Kami had finally answered their prayers to him, deciding to abandon the country. The citizens took it as an opportunity to rebuild as it was gone, and the thugs that remained were run off by Team 7. Speaking of Team 7, Kakashi attempted to connect with Naruto, but the blonde was on business level with the silver hair. Sasuke would see Naruto as someone not worth the effort, but the blonde did stand up to when he couldn't. However, thanks to Zabuza's Kai, his Sharingan awakened. Naruto is currently laying on the roof of Tazuna's home with his eyes closed. Now things are getting boring, he thought. Perhaps he should have waited to kill Gato, muses, and Naruto grunts. Then maybe I could have fought Haku, Naruto. Kakashi sunshine next to the blonde, and he opens his eyes to look up at his sensei. Follow me, Kakashi says. Naruto sighs and rises to his feet with a groan. May I ask why, he says. Naruto, I am not going to do this every time. You may have a grudge against me, but we're still a team, Kakashi says. True, but this team is not really a team. You focus on Sasuke and neglect Hinata's training. You have trained us in chakra control, but you put us in this situation. If not for my connections, we would still be dealing with Gato and Zabuza. What would you say then if Konoha lost their last loyal Uchiha Hyuga heiress and weapon? Naruto says. Kakashi remains silent as the pair reach Sasuke and in the forest. This is chakra paper. I'm going to test your affinities, Kakashi says, pulling 3 slips of paper from his vest. Suiton turns the paper wet, Doton turns the paper into dirt, Kaden burns the paper, Fuden tears the paper, and Raiden crumples the paper, Kakashi explains, handing each a slip. Sasuke goes first and his paper crumples but also burns, signifying an affinity with being stronger. Hinata goes second and her paper crumples to show an affinity like Sasuke, while Naruto's paper splits several pieces. A strong Fuden affinity like Tatsu, but I can also use Kaden, Naruto says. Tatsu, Sasuke says. Tatsu Miku, known as the Immortal Dragon, is the chairman of the Kuririn and in a way my adopted older brother, Naruto says. Regardless, for our remaining time I will teach the basic exercise to convert your chakra into your element. We'll use leaves, Kakashi explains. Naruto sighs and follows his teammates to grab some leaves to begin practicing. So will you learn some ninjutsu? Naruto asks. We never really relied on ninjutsu, but that seems like outdated thinking, Hinata says. You can add your Raiden affinity. You can further incapacitate your opponent, Naruto muses, watching Kakashi speak to Sasuke. The elders are stuck in their ways, Hinata says, and Naruto starts explaining how she needs to use chakra to crinkle the leaf. The team would spend the next month learning how to do this first exercise and guarding as he finishes his bridge. The time would soon come for Team 7 to leave the country of Nami, but for Naruto, it was an untapped place to further the power of the. Are you sure about this? Kakashi hears and says, after listening to Kakashi's oral report from Team 7's mission to Nami. The copy ninja slowly nods and hears and leans back in his chair. This is concerning, I should have done more, Hiruzen says. His actions in Nami were things Sensei would not do, Kakashi says. Hiruzen was about to agree to this, but his secretary enters with a fearful look on her face. Hokage Samati, the daimyo has arrived, she says, and Hiruzen's eyes widen. He had not been informed of the daimyo leaving the capital to come too. Why could he be here? Hiruzen thought. Daimyo-sama, Hiruzen asks. In the council room he wants to meet with the shinobi council, the secretary says. Hiruzen rises from his seat and touches his chest. Anbu contacts the clan heads, he orders, and several shadows flicker. Return to your duties, Kakashi hears and says, and Kakashi nods, before vanishing. Hiruzen grabs his cage hat and makes his way to the council room, where several guards are waiting and one opens the door to the room. The room has a large U-shaped table with several chairs and windows to allow light inside, also several chairs for guests, but sitting at the center of the table is the fire daimyo Takugawa Ieyasu. He is a man in late 30s with messy but spiky brown hair and eyes. He has a muscular figure unlike his counterparts, wearing black and red robes befitting a ruler. Daimyo-sama hears and says but his breath hitches, seeing his student Tsunade Senju sitting to Ieyasu's right in the guest chairs with her student Shizune Kato and Pet Piglet Taunton. Sit down Hiruzen, we have much to discuss, Ieyasu says. Hiruzen makes his way to sit to Ieyasu's right, but could feel Tsunade's honey eyes on him. Slowly the shinobi council was made of the great clans of Konoha, Aburame, Nara, Akimichi, Yamanaka, Uchiha, Hyuga, Kurama, Uzumaki, Sarutobi and Senju. The Uzumaki and were not represented, but for now it didn't matter. Thank you all for coming on short notice, but certain things have brought to my attention, Ieyasu says, looking each council member in the face, and Shikaku Nara suspected what or who this was about. He, like many on the shinobi council, voted not to have Naruto Uzumaki enter the academy, by giving in to the irrational fears of A. As it concerned Naruto Uzumaki Shikaku. He has black hair and a pineapple ponytail with a few scars on his face, and is wearing attire. The Nara are always perceptive, Ieyasu says and clears his throat. You all may attempt to deny this, but Naruto Uzumaki is the son of Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze, the latter the Yondaime Hokage, and the former someone from our ancient ally in Uzushio, he adds. We were vulnerable after the Kyuubi attack. If it was revealed that Naruto was their child, Iwa and Kuma would have gone to war to have him or kill him, Hiruzen says. And you took advantage of my father's indecisive nature to do so. Even naming yourself once again, Ieyasu says. There was no one else to take the mantle, Daimyo-sama Noichi Yamanaka says. He has ash blonde hair and baby blue eyes, wearing the grey uniform of the T&I department. He has students who could have taken up the mantle, one of which is to my left, and do not counter with her grief Tsunade, and I have spoken at length about this, Ieyasu counters. Jiraiya was better suited to run a deflection campaign with his spy network, and I could not contact Tsunade Hiruzen. Well, that changes now as Tsunade will become Godame Hokage. You have until the Chunin exams to have her up to date, Ieyasu says, and Hiruzen lowers his head, but nods. Back to the matter of Naruto Uzumaki, instead of keeping his status a secret it became public knowledge, Ieyasu says. Someone leaked Naruto's status, Hiruzen says. But someone being Danzo Shimura, why was this man allowed to lie for such a betrayal, Ieyasu asks. Danzo holds a lot of power in the village as an elder, and commander of Nichosa, Akimichi says. He is a rotund man with millimeters, wearing black pants with a purple and black kimono jacket. The elders are to advise not hold power. Hizna was supposed to be dismantled, but has remained in the shadows since its dismemberment, Ieyasu says. Again, I have no excuse. Danzo and his fellow elders took advantage of the gap between Minato's death and my reinstatement, to take power where they had no need to. Hiruzen. I see well all three have been dealt with by Homura and Koharu by my hand and Danzo by Naruto's hand, Ieyasu says, and this shocks the council. Uzumaki killed Danzo, Tsuminizuka shouts. She has wild brown hair and vertical slit eyes, purple marking on her cheeks and matching lipstick, wearing the standard attire, but with a black shirt. Yes, Naruto took the initiative when all you did not and dealt with the traitor. Danzo is responsible for many issues in this village, but chief among them is the Uchiha has moved to the outskirts of the village, and them being blamed for the Kyuubi attack, Ieyasu explains. Hiruzen's eyes flicker at the thought of Naruto killing Danzo, but shakes his head softly. What happened with the Uchiha should not have happened. I thought words would be enough, but they were not, he says. That may be true, but words are often not enough. Hiruzen, your second term as Hokage has left much to be desired, and that is due in part to my father and his indecisive nature. But you not see the world around you. Did you know your actions has nearly brought Suna to be our enemy, Ieyasu says, shocking a few on the council. Sunagakur would betray us, Hiashi Hyuga asks. He has long brown hair and featureless white eyes, wearing a white kimono and brown haori. The Wind Daimyo has been sending missions meant for Suna here. If not for my timely intervention, we would have Suna betraying our alliance and siding with your traitorous student, Ieyasu says, and this sends chills through Hiruzen and the Shinobi Council. Orochimaru has taken over the land of rice paddies. I thought Jiraiya would have told you about Sensei Tsunade. She has blonde hair that parts above her forehead with shoulder-length bangs that frame her face, and the rest reaches her lower back. She wears a grass-green haori with a sleeveless kimono blouse, having a blue obi and matching pants, along strappy kanoichi heels. It seems he is not considering Hiruzen. Shakurasa has given me the details, and has agreed to help us in finally getting rid of Orochimaru. He also believes Orochimaru may kill him, so I'll be enlisting a strong ally to guard him, Ieyasu says. Who's the guard, Shikaku asks. Tatsumiku the immortal dragon, Ieyasu says, smirking. Ha, you snagged a big fish, Tatsu says, staring at his godchild. He is tall and muscular with messy brown hair, dark eyes and a scar running along his face and down his left eye. He wears a white suit with a colorful shirt but no tie, black shoes and a black overcoat. Naruto places a glass of bourbon in front of his true godfather and boss, with a glass of wine of his own. We now own the shipping lanes between Mizu and Fire, but Nami is ripe for the pickings, Naruto says. Will Zabuza be trustworthy? Tatsu asks, after a sip. We own the company. He's simply running it in our steady plus when he helps the rebels in Kiri. We'll have new allies, Naruto says and Tatsu laughs. My investment in a scrawny little child has paid off, Tatsu says. Naruto remembers when he accidentally saved Tatsu by running into the man who attempted to stab him, Tatsu seeing something and taking him in. How's Anu? Naruto asks, after drinking some wine. Tatsu downs his bourbon and Naruto calls for someone to fill it. She's well and she misses how cute you were, he says, thinking of his diminutive wife Shinobu. While she dotes on Naruto, smiling, but his face shifts to a serious one. We'll need her expertise to deal with the Orochimaru, Naruto adds. She'll be ready. Ieyasu has me escorting Rasa here. Rasa believes Orochimaru will strike during the month break, Tatsu says. Naruto takes a few hits of his wine in thought. I'll need to deal with his spy, he muses. He is entrenched here in Konoha, so don't be obvious, what Tatsu says, and Naruto slowly nods. A knock at the door echoes and Masa pokes his head inside. Boss, someone to see you, he says. Then Naruto asks. Hiyashi Hyuga, Masa says, and Naruto finishes his wine. Escort him up, Naruto says. Deal with the kid, I trust your judgment, Tatsu says, and rises from his seat as Naruto bows at the waist. Have a good day, Chairman, Naruto says, as leaves his office. Naruto refills his wine glass as a few moments pass. Hinata must really want you to say. The door opens and Hiyashi enters with Masa closing the door behind him. Please have a seat, Naruto says, sweeping his hand to the chair. Care for a drink, Naruto adds, but shakes his head. The blonde takes a seat across from, but the clan head remains silent for a few moments. I did not know you were in the camp of the daimyo, says, breaching the silence. Not me directly, but I would agree with that assessment, Naruto says, then takes a sip of wine. My daughter spoke to me about perhaps allowing you to court her, and Naruto swirls the wine in his cup. She did. However, you knew about her feelings for me. Considering you sent your nephew to this club on several occasions, Naruto says, taking a sip, and Hiyashi narrows his eyes. Come now, nothing goes on in this district without me knowing. You assumed I was not worth your daughter, but now knowing I am in the camp of the daimyo through the Kurikan, now I am worthy. Naruto adds a sly smile on his face. Hiyashi remains stone-faced as Naruto sips his wine. The Hyuga are a noble clan that has existed for many years. A noble clan who subjugates half for simply being born second. You are quite arrogant in this because the Hokage can't interfere with clan business, Naruto says, and his smile widens. However, that can't be said for the daimyo, he adds. Hiyashi narrows his eyes but remains silent as Naruto sips his wine. However, he is willing to stay out of it if you show a token of good faith, Naruto says. Good faith questions. You're willing to give up Hinata at the chance of furthering the Hyuga name with the royal court because my Aniki is allied with Lord Ieyasu. How about this? Let Hinata go and name your nephew as your heir, Naruto states, and Hiyashi's breath hitches. What are you plotting? Uzumaki, Hiyashi says. Nothing, I am simply giving Hinata what she wants. By extension, you get what you want. If Hinata eventually marries me, you get access to the royal court, and perhaps use your youngest as a bargaining chip, as Naruto says. My daughter is not bargaining tools, Hiyashi says, nearly breaking his blank mask. That's what you say, but you would do anything to propel the Hyuga name. Giving up Hinata keeps you out of the crosshairs of the daimyo, Naruto says. She would need to be sealed. I will not have the Byakugan free say, and Naruto chuckles, shaking his head. You would go the far high. If Hinata is willing, then I am willing, Naruto says. Hiyashi rises from his seat and makes his way to the door. I will prepare things and speak with Hinata, he says, not looking back and leaving Naruto's office. He won't let her go so easily, Akagi says. Of course not, the seal is simply the opening move, Naruto muses, heading to his small apartment across from his office. It is decorated like his office, but has a moderately sized bed, small kitchenette and a decent walk-in shower, toilet and vanity mirror. I'll need to perhaps get a better place for Naruto muses, preparing for a shower and to go see. Naruto makes his way to his team's training ground, but finds Hinata, and she is not happy to see him. Why did you agree for me to be sealed, she says. Naruto pokes her markless forehead with a sigh. He suggested it, and I only said I would be willing to listen, but I didn't agree to it, he says. It still doesn't change the fact you won't agree to it unless I agree to have the seal placed on me to keep the Byakugan out of others' hands, Hinata says. Then go to the daimyo. Have him emancipate you from the Hyuga. Your father doesn't have the balls to go against the Lord Ieyasu, Naruto says, seeing Sasuke approaching. I'll consider it, Hinata says. Hello Sasuke, Naruto says, but Sasuke only says, use your words, Sasuke, Naruto adds. Shut up, Uzumaki, Sasuke says, going to sit under the tree. About 20 minutes later, Kakashi arrives. I'll make this quick. We won't be taking missions outside the village. For now we'll be focusing on the Chunin exams in 3 months, he says, and explains how the exams work. Team 7 would continue to work on their elemental manipulation, with Sasuke getting a good bit more training in it, compared to Naruto, but the latter really didn't care as he has his Kage Bunshin. Naruto would focus on Hinata and would introduce her to Anko, who specializes in poisons and her snake-like maneuverability. Hinata would also speak to Ieyasu about freeing herself from the daimyo of fire, would put together the means for the god aim to speak with the once she was in office. Naruto would learn that did indeed aid the rebels led by a woman named Mei Terumi, and would see their victory over them. He was content with this as the rebels would owe the favor, and could call the favor in at any time. Zabuza also informed Naruto that Mei would want to meet with him during the exams, the blonde setting things up for during the 1-month break for the finals of the exams. Naruto didn't slack on his training either, as learned several from sacred scrolls, such as the exploding clone technique, the Ito Tensei, and how to counter said, but also several Uzumaki techniques as well. He also started to learn to manipulate water thanks to Nidame's notes, but also the Hiraishin both his father and Nidame were known for. 3 months would pass in the blink of an eye, and the exams would finally arrive. Naruto watches Ino and Sakura fight over Sasuke, as the princes look on the verge of killing both. They could tell many of the hopefuls have their gazes on them, and the rookies have no situational awareness, save for who is next to him. Naruto could see Niji's team, and they give off a similar air as the other teams, but he waves at Tenten, something she reciprocates. You should really be quiet, a voice says, and Naruto glances to see the little spy for Orochimaru. Kabuto-kun, Naruto thought, seeing Kabuto Yakushi. He has onyx eyes and ash-gray hair and a ponytail with black-rimmed circular glasses. He wears a dark purple shirt with a high collar, a white undershirt, and dark purple pants with a white cloth waistband, and purple fingerless gloves with armored plates on the back of a hand. Who are you? Shouts, and Kabuto adjusts his glasses. My name is Kabuto Yakushi and I am your senior, Kabuto says. You've taken the exams before, Shikamaru asks, as chomps some chips. I have 7 times in fact, and I can tell it is not easy, Kabuto says, as Kiba mocks him for his tries. So you haven't passed, Shikamaru says, and Kabuto rubs the back of his neck. Kabuto then pulls some blank cards. That may be true, but I can give you some information I have gathered. He says and explains things. Do you have information on individuals, Sasuke says, and Kabuto nods, but Naruto claps his hands, smiling. You use your words, Sasuke, good job, Naruto says, and Sasuke glares at him, but turns back to Kabuto. I want information on Rock Lee and Gaara Sabaku, Sasuke says. You know their names. That's good, Kabuto says, and channels chakra into his cards but slaps his neck. Must have been a bug, he says, going back to his cards. Rock Lee, he's 1 year older than you and his teammates with Niji Hyuga and Tenten Higurashi. He's completed 20 D rank missions, 11 C rank missions, and has no marketable skills, other than Taijutsu. Kabuto starts and swaps to his second card. Gaara Sabaku teammates are Temari and Kankuro Sabaku. He's completed 8 C rank missions, 1 B rank missions, and has never been injured, Kabuto explains, shocking the rookies. Naruto suddenly drapes an arm around Kabuto with a smile. How about those 3 over there? He says, pointing to 3 genin with musical note 8. The first is a young girl around their age with fair skin, black eyes with very long black hair that nearly touches the floor, tied with violet ribbon. She wears a pale green vest somewhat similar to a flak jacket, snake pattern pants with a snake pattern skirt over it, and a snake pattern scarf around her neck. The second has spiky black hair and dark eyes with a sneer on his face. He wears a beige shirt with 2 black stripes and 3 prints of the kanji for death down the front. Hit I-8 has an attached tapiri under the cloth with snake-themed pants and a scarf with calf-high sandals. The third is hunched over and has bandages covering most of his face, leaving only his left eye and eyebrow uncovered. He also wears a large poncho with long sleeves, a snake-patterned scarf around his neck, a straw raincoat protruding from the back of his scarf, and a large amplifier on his right arm. They're from the village of Atagakure no Sato. A new village, and I don't have any info on them, Kabuto says, but freezes, as Naruto runs his fingers along the back of his neck. And then that means they are really weak, Naruto declares, looking all 3 in the eyes with a smile on his face. We could show you tree hugger, the second named Zaku shouts. The 3 were about to rush Naruto and attack him, but the blonde flexed his kai on them, showing all 3 their deaths and halting them in their tracks. Will and his teammate Dosu see their deaths, but their Kunoichi teammate Kintsuchi sees herself being fucked 8 ways to Sunday by Naruto and loving it. Other genin were feeling Naruto's kai and were seeing their deaths as well. So that's what Naruto Uzumaki says. She has teal eyes and sandy blonde hair, gathered into 4 consecutive pigtails. She wears a single light purple off-the-shoulders garment that extends to halfway down her thighs, with a scarlet sash tied around her waist, also incorporating fishnet over her shoulders and legs, specifically on her right calf and her left thigh. He looks dangerous in the comments, wearing all black with makeup or warpant as he calls it on his face. Mother doesn't like him, Gaara states. He has spiky auburn hair with teal eyes and no eyebrows, but also tanuki-like black rings, with the kanji for love on the left side of his forehead. He wears a reddish-brownish bodysuit with long sleeves, an upright collar, and mesh armor on his wrists, but also his ankles with a large gourd on his back. Suddenly a large puff of smoke erupts as the proctor for the first round at Biki Morino appears. Hey, no fighting, he shouts. He wears a bandana but has scars on his face, wearing the grey tie-and-dye uniform with a black trench coat. Sorry but my excitement got the better of me, Naruto says. Well, don't let that happen again, or I'll toss you and your team, Yakuza says, and Naruto smirks, as it calls a beginning to the first round of the exams. Thanks for watching my video, leave a like if you enjoyed my video, and also do consider subscribing to my channel for more awesome content. See you next time, till then sayonara.